just telling him on a side note, God bless his soul, the guy who died in the IC-184 hijacking was my classmate. I used to study in 11th, 12th with him in used to go to tuition, Ripan Katyal. And his father had a shop in Old Gurgaon. I grew up in Old Gurgaon. And his father, I discovered, was my super senior from my engineering college. So I've had some very naughty moments with Ripan. God bless his soul, and he's up there. But today's session is about you, Mr. Varma. We saw that glimpse of the performances you've done in movie. He read out your profile. I don't think you really need an introduction, but it's good to say it in context. You're doing well. Your best is yet to come. You're an established actor and growing. If you hadn't been an actor, what would you be? How did you come to become an actor?
I dabbled in a few things when I was a teenager in my early 20s also. I was still trying to find my way. And it was mostly to do something with the stories. I remember I wanted to be, my first dream was to become a comic book sketch artist. Because I spent maybe 10 years of my life just reading comic books and being completely lost in that world. And I used to sketch a lot, and I wrote letters to Raj Comics saying that I want to do something. But then I grew out of it and I got into video games. Then I had a brief stint. I wanted to become a tattoo artist at one point. I wanted to do something with basically either some kind of something related to arts or design. I wanted to actually become a fashion designer at one point. I had so many ideas that I wanted to dabble with, and my father threw each one of them outside the window. And then I was left with no choice but to run away from home.
Beautiful, and you've done well. We all experiment with ideas and things we want to do, and then God has a plan for us. Just for fun, if you hadn't been an actor, what would you be?
Oh, I think I would do something with either video games or comic books.
Beautiful. Confucius said you make your hobby your profession, you don't have to work for a day.
Exactly. I mean, I can't, yeah. I've been on certain sets where I felt like it's just looking like job right now. And I hated the experience. I don't want to have a feeling that I'm getting up and I'm doing a job. Because my profession requires us to play. And if that element is missing, then there's no fun.
Right, Vijay.
Now, play means khelna.
Sahi baat. Now, we saw the array of performances you have given. How do you prepare for a role? And for example, in The Hard, you played the role of a psychological, the psycho and the serial killer. How does playing such a role impact you deeply? Or, it's just for the power, you do your job and you're away.
So it does something to you. I'm not able to completely comprehend what happens, but it's basically certain loss of innocence that definitely happens. I felt like when I first got the material, I could not understand why somebody would behave this way. And then I was told that he gets pleasure out of killing people, and I can't understand it. Logically, it makes no sense for me. Then at that time, Rima, my director, she was completely submerged in serial killer documentaries. She shared some with me. And I started watching these serial killers and when they are, during their trials and when they are talking to people and what their confessions sound like, and it was chilling. And I think I did that for a couple of days and I couldn't sleep. It was very scary. And at one point I decided I can't go any further in this. I have to, I think I understood it to a degree that it's a sickness that I can't relate with, but now I have to play it. And fortunately the script was such that they show the normalcy of this person, the regular life of this person, the so-called front of this person more than what is actually happening inside his head. So that saved me a little bit. But yeah, I think I would say just certain loss of innocence, because once you're exposed to that kind of information, then you're looking at the world differently.
Sure. And Vijay, this was a very different role. But normally, how do you prepare for a role? For example, in this case, you said your director asked you to watch documentaries on serial killers.
Yeah.
Give us examples of other roles. For example, you did the role in Gully Boy and so on. How do you really prepare for a role?
So my main focus, and I feel like this is something that works for me, I try to sound as much as the character belongs to in terms of the language, the accent, the milieu. That is the starting point for me. If I can't sound like, if I'm playing, say, a Bihari character, which I played in, say, Mirzapur, the entire series is based in UP, in Mirzapur, and they introduce a character, which is my character. The entire family is in Siwan, Bihar. And then my job, born and raised in Hyderabad, parents are Rajasthani, I have no connection with Bihar. So my first step was to actually learn how the dialect, how a Bihari person, especially Siwan wale log, kaise Hindi bolte hain. Then fortunately, Pankaj Tripathi is from Siwan. And I just watched a lot of his interviews and I aped him, basically. And then I watched a lot of Kanhaiya Kumar's speech and Ravish Kumar. When they speak, there is a certain twang that they have. So I try to pick things up and sound like these characters. For Gully Boy, it was proper Dharavi and a Muslim neighborhood in Dharavi. So it's different than the Maharashtrian lingo in Dharavi. So to differentiate between one another is the joy that I find. So I try to attack on the voice and the diction first, and then I venture into other territories. I feel like definitely Vesh Bhusa, what the person is wearing, how the person is conducting. Early on in my life, it was crazy. I used to go really like try to find out what kind of music this person enjoys and all those method stuff, but I've completely dropped that and I'm sticking to the basics.
Thank you, Vijay. Clearly, you do that well and it helps you play the characters that you played with aplomb. Vijay, one of the things is the role of movies and art is to be able to lead conversations, create conversations, or comment on what's happening in the social milieu. Do you think our filmmakers, actors, are being able to take up themes that are really important, but are sometimes not even taken up by media, and actors and movie makers are then taking on that role of being able to take up contentious issues which are very important and being sensitive and authentic about how you because movies have a huge impact.
I feel like it does put the magnifying glass for certain. I was part of a film called Pink, and I realized
in 2016.
In 2016, and because of that film, the whole idea of consent came into the dining table of Indian households, and I feel like that's a big achievement for a film. And even with Darlings, the themes are about domestic abuse and women finding power in themselves to kind of battle it. So the idea is to put the magnifying glass, and there are films which are doing it. Like recently, Lapata Ladies did the same, and in The Hard also you can actually, it's about a cop and a serial killer, but overall the themes are about repression, about patriarchy, about so many things. So the one who is watching, they are receiving what they're supposed to receive, and in a climate like that, I think if you can speak metaphorically and it connects, it's good.
Beautiful. Now, you played a multitude of roles. You have a large body of work. A lot of them have been appreciated by audiences. Some of the movies have been a big hit, or the short series have been a big hit. Is there a favorite role you have? Which is your most favorite role? I ask it to authors who've written multiple books. All books are. We love all our books.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a general answer, but I won't go down that route. So there are these characters and movies that get a lot of love, and ones that I'm most sensitive about. I feel like they need the love. So I think two projects I would say, which was from my end a great dive into those universes. There was a show called OK Computer on Hotstar, which is about it's an interesting new genre that we invented. It's just a sci-fi and a comedy. So that I believe was very interesting, and I enjoyed the part a lot. It's also comedy. It's the first show that I called my nieces and I said, "You guys can watch this," because usually my work is such that I'm like, "Don't watch my stuff," because there's Darlings, there's The Hard, there's Mirzapur, which is all thematically very adult. So OK Computer is one of them, and there was another show called Kalkoot, in which I'm playing a really wide-eyed, innocent police officer who dislikes the job so much in the first month that he wants to resign, and then coming of age of this young police officer, which is again a very beautiful show. And so these two are my favorite.
Fantastic. Vijay, movies are supposed to be metaphorically conveying messages, as you said.
I mean, it depends.
So they're for entertainment, they're for infotainment, but also beyond that, filmmakers and actors have been able to, through their work, without shouting out loud from the rooftop, carry that message.
Yeah.
Today there's too much of hate, too much of division, too much of, if I may use, polarization.
Yeah.
What do you have to say as a creative person who has a voice, who has influence? What do you say about that?
And there was no social media. And we were still shooting on the film, the diploma films, the student films that we were making. And from there till now, I see that the cinema, the avenues, so many things have become so much bigger. And the thing with hate is that it travels faster, but it doesn't go very far. So it's a very short-sighted, very short-distance runner. And I think that, I mean, as much as I want, but I think love needs to make a major comeback in this world. And the one comment which is the wrong comment gets the most attention, and I don't know, it plays something with our psyche in a strange way. And I don't know how to battle it, actually. Luckily, I've been devoid of any controversy. I've never been trolled, not been hated on online or otherwise. So I've lived in a fairly cocooned, marshmallow environment. So I've not been a personal victim of this, but I empathize with the ones who probably are at the receiving end of it, because it can get a bit too much, and with the mental health crisis going on, it can take a toll on anybody.
Absolutely. The kind of comments some of my journalist friends who are females, they get for honest stories, certain brigade trolls them, and I ask them, you're very brave, that you go through this and still do what you do every day.
Absolutely.
Vijay, you're famous now, you're accomplished, your work is acclaimed. What does success mean to you? I know it's a very cliched question, it means different things to different people. But nevertheless, are you successful? Which you are. But the beauty about a successful person is they always think that they need to do more, they need to achieve more.
I mean, I wanted to do more even when I was unsuccessful, but I think that doing more is a constant pursuit. But I don't know, I don't feel the success, and I don't know how to explain it. It's just my life has not changed a lot. It's just that sometimes when I was starting out, I could not even imagine calling a director, and even to compliment the work, I would be very shy, and I would hold myself back thinking, am I crossing my line? And I feel like it's just the ability to pick up the call and call whoever you want to call, and because they know you. And I think that is for me a big change. And
to have a voice.
To have a voice, actually. To be able to actually, speak your mind freely. Apart from that, of course, there are these material
If you're
gains
unmarried, you can speak your mind freely anyway. Which I guess you are, right?
Yes, I am very much unmarried.
Right. So that's I'm about to complete 23 years of marriage to the same woman. So more kudos to her than me. But Sunil, my friend, knows me for a long time, and now Vijay, coming back to you, I think having a voice and being able to say what you feel, pick the roles that you have to, have a certain sense of expectation, and this is a beautiful thing. I have two children, grown-up children, and whatever you say to your children, they become. Yeah. And somebody on 23rd Jan this year wrote me a long email.
Oh, that is so wrong. My father said, "Bhik mangoge."
No, but honestly, that I'm sure your father said a lot of good things to you. That's the one I'm sure I've grown up in a Punjabi family, so there's much more than that which I can't say on stage, but we'll leave that for another day, right? And, that's love. My dad is going to be 84, my mom. But focusing on this, the reason I'm saying this is whatever you say to somebody, send me a mail on 23rd Jan this year. I made my first money 24 years from him when I turned an entrepreneur. He wrote such a long mail, and I wrote back to him saying, when you say good things about a person, they start believing it and they start acting like this. So I wrote to him, even if I'm not like this, hopefully I'll be like this now that you've said. So the point I'm trying to ask you is, now that you've so much, people expect Vijay Varma to do so well, because you have a certain body of work, you come across as somebody who has balance. What are your own expectations from yourself as you move forward? You're very young, so I won't ask you about a bucket list, but what are your own expectations in the next 2-3 years from Vijay Varma?
I feel I need to go deeper into the work because, we all have a certain amount of arsenal with us as artists, and you feel like that this is a full tank and you entered, you were hungry, you used so much of your fuel. But unless you go back and do that kind of rigor and that kind of self-reflection and all those things that you did to find truth in your own life, and therefore truth in material outside, in scripts and stuff. So my pursuit is to go deeper, is to cut away the frills in life and to just keep focusing, because right now what I figured is eventually your work is going to speak the most. Absolutely. In spite of you trying to speak as much as you want with it. You might, come out and present yourself as a very successful person, but the next release is something that determines where you stand. And I feel like my personal pursuit is to kind of go deeper and find something more. And there is this deep craving to do something for the big screen, because it's been a while since my movie or anything that I've done has been played on the big screen. And I think the last was Gully Boy, or maybe I was in Super 30 for a bit. So it's been 4 years since I've missed seeing myself on the big screen. So that is something that's already in the work. And I want to bring something out on the big screen in a way that makes me go back to my old dream of watching myself in a big movie theater with audience cheering.
And Vijay, again, movies, content, music, art, designer, such, they don't have to be exclusive. As in, you can like multiple pieces of art. You can like different music at different points of life, different moods. So it's not either or in music or in movies. But I must ask you this question. Who's your favorite actor in Bollywood? Or favorite actors?
I mean, I have so much regard for such incredible talent that this country actually holds. And I've recently got the opportunity to work with one of my heroes, who I consider as my, Dronacharya. Because I couldn't get direct training from him, so I used to look at his work and learn from it. It was Mr. Nasiruddin Shah. And we worked very closely on a film project, and it's produced by Manish Malhotra. We finished the film. It's called Ool Jalul Ishq. It's a beautiful, poetic, sweet, romantic film. And I got to, so Nasir Saab is one of my favorite, and Tabu is definitely somebody
She's also from Hyderabad.
Hyderabad.
Nepotism,
and that is my special connection with her, because we share a lot of Hyderabadi memes with each other, and we enjoy the Zaban Ka Zaika वहाँ की. So she's somebody I look up to and I want to work with Amir Khan. I want to work with Shah Rukh Khan, who I could consider as our present cinema gods. And yeah, I mean there are several actually.
And I want your comment on this. There's an actress who's fighting for elections in Himachal Pradesh. She recently said there's a certain actress that's fighting for elections in Himachal Pradesh. She said she's as good as Meryl Streep, the only actress that comes close to her. So ऐसा confidence कहाँ से आता है?
मनाली में बहुत कुछ मिलता है.
तभी मैं कभी गया नहीं हूँ ऐसे आज तक.
मैं भी नहीं गया.
अब आपने बता दिया तो मैं कोशिश करूंगा. I have another 5 minutes, so I'll bring in one or two. Keep your questions ready and short and direct. Vijay, Bollywood, is a very shiny place. How do you stay grounded? I know you're not even married, so So how do you stay grounded?
What is it? The wife that grounds you otherwise?
One part does, a little bit does.
You are grounded. Room में जाके बैठो.
No, not that grounded, but on a serious note, you are famous. My daughter is starstruck. She remembers, she came with me 2 years back. She's 20 years old. And early morning, she was speaking at a UN conference and with the Trident. And 9 o'clock, I had to have breakfast with her and she wasn't there. She went down and said a certain movie scene was shot here and she's like, right?
Yeah.
When I told her I'm doing a conversation, she almost came to Bombay with me, So really, you're accomplished, you're appreciated, you know that your work is making an impact. How do you stay grounded?
So, I think it happened so late. I waited and waited and waited. And in that process of waiting, and I kept my head down and I kept working. What happened was I realized that I was very happy with very little. And in the sense like my desires didn't go crazy. I didn't want to fly private jet when I become successful. Some of it, so my life has not really changed. And my needs have always been very, very basic. And so between, say, going out to a fancy restaurant and enjoying a meal or eating ghar ka khana, I've gotten used to eating ghar ka khana and really enjoying it. Like it's an effort to actually go out and eat and then it disappoints you in a certain strange way. So I feel like just the idea of, your life, when you change your life drastically because something you hit gold or then some part of you is uprooted and some part of you is detached from you. And I've never let that happen. I've been driving the same car for 4 years now. I've been living in the same house, in the same neighborhood for 10 years now. I think just trying to maintain and the same crew, the same personal assistant, the same manager, the same hair artist, the same makeup artist, the same cook. Even if we don't get along, I try to work with them. And my maid, every day she troubles me because she put either extra tail in it and I'm like, I've got like this and this, don't do this, and she'll do what she wants. But you try to work with them. You try to make very long-lasting relationship with people you work with, and because these are the people who were there when nothing was around and they know who you are. And it's not difficult to get the best people. It's not difficult to buy a house in Goa. It's not, but I don't want to uproot myself. It's a choice.
Beautiful. If you want to gift a house to someone in Goa, you're most welcome.
But I'm going to buy my first house very soon.
Beautiful. God bless you. I'm sure it's not be your last. My last question to you. If your new movies are coming, Shubhaji talked about some of the movies in the works. Which of them are you looking forward to most? Of course, every movie is exciting, every role is exciting, I know, but still.
It's like, it's like जो भी पत्ता खुलेगा सब अच्छा है. So I'm just waiting whichever comes out first. I think we will have, excitement-wise, I think the entire nation, because I say this because I traveled the length and breadth of the country and across. And the only thing that people keep asking me about Mirzapur, so that is something that a lot of people are excited about. So I'm very excited to see what people do when it comes out, and some of them will really lose their minds. So that is the next exciting stuff. And I think the story that you mentioned, IC 814, it's based on the real life incident in 1999 December, where one of our planes got hijacked, and it was a 7-day ordeal, which I'm fortunate enough to play the pilot in the story. A gentleman who's still here, and he shared the story with me. I was in the flight simulation with him. He showed me what he did with that flight. And I know about your friend's story as well.
Ripan Katyal, yeah.
Yes, and
He just got married, he was on his honeymoon.
yeah, and we have a
My
great director.
classmate.
Yeah, we have a great director directing this one. Anubhav Sinha is one of the best. And so these are the two exciting ones, and I'm sure there are more which I can't discuss about.
Thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, Vijay.
My pleasure.
And I hope I get more time with you in future.